Greetings, grasshoppers. Hello, and welcome to Monday. Monday's a beautiful day, isn't it? It's the beginning of a brand new week, a week with endless possibilities and meetings, conversations you could have, connections you could make. Monday is glorious, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So, today, we're going to talk about something that I don't talk about too often. It's kind of an admin thing, and it's not something I'm terribly interested in, to tell you the truth. It's just kind of it's boring. It's boring. Today I have a boring topic, all right? So, it's this: planning. How much planning do you do? How important is it to your process? Now, for me, I'm a seat of the pants type of girl. I like to just roll with it. I once lived in a foreign country where I didn't know the language for fun. I'm one of those, you know. I make decisions by the seat of my pants, and I like it that way. That allows a lot of room for creativity, which is one of my strengths. But here it is: when you're passing stuff to a team, when you are, especially if you have a team, if you have other people working for you, then it absolutely pays to add a little bit more structure. Oh, I hate that word, structure. But it absolutely pays to add a little bit more structure to what you're doing, to your overall plan. For me, it just feels like, oh, you're limiting my creativity. You're making me go sit in the corner and write 1,000 lines. I will no longer disturb my classmates, something like that. This is childish. Why should I have to do this? I just about have a tantrum when faced with like planning. So today I want to show you that there are some alternatives. There are huge benefits to planning, by the way, but there are some alternatives to how to do it that aren't placing such a huge limitation on how creative you can be. I don't know about you, but it's one of the reasons that I got into business for myself, because I hated plodding along in some pre-specified plan that somebody that is not even close to the work made up on a whim, and now we've all got to toe the line. Ow. That's one reason that corporate slavery didn't fit me too well. And so I love to create. I love to blank canvas it and go, okay, blue sky, what are we going to do? But it can have a detrimental effect on your business if you do that too much. If you're constantly, creating things, then you never pay attention to the stuff that you've already created, and you don't bother to give it life. It's just all you've got behind you is a string of things that you've created, you've paid attention to for about 10 minutes, and then you've abandoned. I don't know if you feel like this, but sometimes in my career here with my little company, sometimes I feel that way. Planning is so cool when you can do it in a way that still feels creative. It allows you to take some of your creativity and, instead of create brand new things, perfect the things that you have. To go back and look at what's out there right now. How's that responding? And I know, it feels like a report card, right? When I look at my analytics, sometimes it feels like a report card. Sometimes it feels like, I got to look at this thing again. And it's going to tell me that I'm not doing as well as I want to do. It's absolutely necessary. It's necessary. And the thing that I have to do is change my perspective about it before I even go looking. I change my perspective on it, because sometimes the numbers are really super great and they're totally inspiring, and I want to do 10 times more than that, 100 times more than that. Sometimes the numbers are, this isn't going so well. But I wouldn't be who I am I wouldn't wouldn't be an expert on it if I didn't fail. So I'm obsessed with a cooking show right now, and it's Great British Menu. It's on Amazon, and there are these British people and they're cooking. I love this show. And there was one season of it where this guy was super competitive. He was kind of a jerk to people actually about it. That he's super competitive chef and he's competing against three chefs. And he came really, really close to winning, but he didn't win. And then the next season happened, and it happened again. And so he came back a third time. And the third time, what he did was, so they pick out little menus that they're going to cook. He practiced hundreds of hours perfecting this dish or whatever. And I realized that doesn't sound sexy either. It doesn't. To me, the part where we're talking about him practicing, that's me looking at the analytics and going, where can we tweak this? How can we make this better? How can we get more bang for our buck out of this particular thing, whether it's a social post or whether it's a bot or whatever it is? How can we tweak this to get better? So back to the dude in the kitchen. So this time he practices like hundreds of hours on these 4 dishes that he makes, right? And here's what happened in the kitchen. So there's one day in which, they make a meal a day, and then there's one day they have to make all 4 for the judges. Here's what happened to this guy. In the heat of the moment, he made some mistakes. There were some mistakes. There was some timing stuff. Some stuff fell flat. And what he was able to do, because he practiced so much, was that he was able to fix it on the fly. Because he had in his head thought about all of the different paths that this could go down. That's what happens when I'm doing my planning. That's what happens when I'm looking at the results of what I've done, not just focusing on creating. Because to focus only on the creating part of it means that I create a whole lot of stuff, and a whole lot of stuff gets abandoned. And I'm not willing to do that in my business. Are you? No, I want to be able to be like that guy. I want to be able to fix on the fly. I want to be able to diagnose and go, okay, this is what's happening with that. Here's how we can fix it. I want to do the necessary. I want to do the admin type stuff so that I can put out not just okay products that are somewhat thought out. I want to put out products that people love. You know what I mean? So I promised that I would I promised that I would show you in the show notes. I promised that I'd show you a little way that I've kind of gotten around this very problem. And so I'm going to do that just now. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. I've got something that I think is pretty amazing. And really it's a drawing. Of course it's a drawing. Why would it not be a drawing? It's RJ. RJ needs to make art things. But let me see here. Boop, 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 boop. Let me get it properly on the screen. This was, speaking of planning, I could have done a little bit more right there. Anyway, okay, here we go. Gonna share my screen with you right now. And this is magnificent stuff. So here we go. Here is something that is going to be coming up here. And let me go ahead and click out on that. And my folks are already on this thing. They're already kind of looking around. You can see them, Alexa and Tom right there. But this is what I did yesterday. I thought about, because usually what I do when I am looking at planning something is I go, okay, what's the to-do list? What do we need to do to get this going? What do we need to do to make it happen? And I start there. I start and end on the to-do list. But the problem is that if I don't have a picture in my head, I don't tend to function that well on something. I don't know if y'all feel that way. Do you all feel that way? For me, what I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, the admin process, this planning stuff is absolutely freaking necessary, even though I don't love to do it. So, how do I make it more enjoyable for myself? The answer for me is a drawing. Okay. The answer for me is a little, let's see how everything flows. So, this is going to be a new product that we're working on, something that is going to round out our offerings pretty well. And this is the process that people will go through. Sign up and pay over here. We got a confirmation email over here. What happens when a client needs one of these things? Here's where they go. And then we have kind of the blue line down here. The purple is what the client goes through. This is their path. This is like what we used to call the happy path in project management. The happy path is up here. This is what they go through. This is where they go from place to place to place to place. Down here, the blue line is where we are getting extra information. So when people go to our bots and they fill out questions, say if you've signed up for one of my live events or something like that, the sign up process is almost always a bot and it'll ask you some questions. Well, I always get an email right after that. The whole team does, with the answers to those questions. Because if we're asking things like, hey, what's the biggest thing you want to know out of this event? Of course, we want to know that right away so that we can tailor that event toward that person. Does that make sense to you? So almost always when we do have a bot going on, we have this corresponding, the bot sends RJ and the team the details. Again, the client is up here. They go to Calendly to sign up for a session. Then they go to a thank you page. What do we want on that thank you page so that it connects with the rest of our stuff, which is, of course, a sign up for the next event. And RJ gets reminders and preps for the session. This is what we're doing on the back end. And then clients get reminders for the calendared session. So that's kind of the process part of it. I mapped it out. So that let me see here. Whoops, cursor's on the wrong screen. It's a Monday, people. I'm back. So I do that. I map it out and show myself this step by step. Because sometimes when I've just thrown up products in the past and went, what do y'all think? And we all go, that sounds great. And we go for it. Then we recognize that something is missing later. The short story is I want a new process for us. I want something that is joyful and still creative. Also, here's the magic of that drawing that I just showed you. We can go back and we can revise it as it is needed so that if a cabbage hit my head, and I slipped into a coma for a while, my team would be able to carry this on because the steps of the process are already written out. See what I mean? They'd be able to revise this map. They'd be able to revise the to-do list. They'd be able to revise all of those things so that when I woke up out of my coma, smooth sailing. Now, some people use different stuff for this. Some people are list people, and they would like a list of things. And that is absolutely fine. Say you've got a VA. Some VAs are really great at strategies and helping and doing all kinds of things. But a lot of VAs will do these are the instructions you gave me. This is exactly what I did. They will comply with every step of the instructions. So some people are list people. Some people have jobs where it's more of a list job. And some people would much rather do this planning stuff through a list, which is totally fine, totally great. What, you do you do you. But what this exercise allowed me to do, what it encouraged me to do, was think about the overall process. I don't know about you. I don't know about what you do for planning, but I get like this. Whoop. How many fingers am I holding up? I don't know. I can't see it. It's too close to my face. Well, technically, I know it's, 4 plus a thumb, but anyway. I get so in the weeds and in the details and in the, okay, how are we going to gamify this, that I forget the 30,000 foot view. The marketing plan that we all need to make has a 30,000 foot view. I don't know if you plan a year ahead. Maybe you do. Maybe you plan 3 months ahead. Maybe you plan 6 months ahead. But this is something that absolutely needs to be done. For me, planning out a year seems like a giggle because, last year I planned to be on a plane every month. I was on 2 planes last year, the entire year. You know what I mean? So a lot of things went a little awry, or a pumpernickel, as we used to say in college. Anyway, things went a little awry, as you know, in last year, and who knows what's going to happen next year? Who knows when live events are going to pick up and all of that kind of stuff. But I have a plan. If no live events pick up whatsoever, I have a plan in case there are no stages out there but virtual ones for the whole year. I got a plan. We're cool. So anyway, I don't know how far out ahead you plan in the future, but the 30,000 foot view is absolutely essential. The looking at, okay, what have I all got going on? And here's the way that I do it. If this helps you at all, pulling back the curtain on my business, I make a plan, but it's always written it's always written in not stone, if you know what I mean. It's something that I'm never completely done with. It always projects out some into the future. And it always contains, what has not worked for us. That thing about what has not worked for me, it's so important to do. And yet, when I'm down in the weeds thinking about the next cool thing I can do, I'm not thinking about what's not working. I'm only being creative. And as much of a strength as being creative is, and some of you out there are fellow creatives, and you know what I'm saying. No matter how much of a strength that it is, sometimes your greatest strength becomes your biggest liability. Because if that's all you do, if that's all you bring to the table ever, then you're not getting a well-rounded view of what's going on. So that was a rather long, kind of ranty thing. Toss some opinions in the comments if you've got them. I'm going to move my keyboard because the dog is coming. Yeah, so this is what I kind of wanted to, just pull the curtain back and show you kind of what goes on. What goes on and how I personally approach some of the admin stuff in my business. Yes, it's boring, so let's make it fun. Let's make it a drawing with different colors on it. Anything we can do to make this more fun, I'm totally willing to do. That is certainly what I know about that. It's going to be a great week here in the Bot Cave. We are, we're working on many, many things going on today, this week even. We're going to have an interview on Thursday, as we normally do. Friday will be our Friday Wins, as it always is. Do join me. Join me for whatever you want to join me with. And as a special addendum, a little bit later in the week, I'm going to be doing a post show on Clubhouse. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait for that. So thank you for joining me today. You guys are the best audience ever. You know that you are, and I just don't know what I would do without you. So that's it for me. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe, and I'll see you in a bot.